I punish harder than like the average like person I'm playing against, and that's the reason that I can still like compete. But I'm not like when I get a hit, I'm not like, oh, like I did like XYZ to get that hit. I'm just like, oh fuck, like here we go, like we're gonna take this guy for a ride. So that's like
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to talk to like someone who plays like at like a much higher level that kind of has like I'm sure you have like thought processes that you go through when you're playing
Of
like
course.
different
Yeah.
matchups and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. I'm not really looking to like be like some insane tournament monster. Like it's tough for me to go to tournaments and stuff, but I just want to like get better basically because this is like my favorite game. So I don't want to like just stop playing because I'm not. It's like too hard to play with people now or whatever.
Yeah. No. That will make sense. So it sounds like if we've got an hour, then let's spend like 30 minutes on each one, sort of coming up with a bit of a game plan and some things to sort of look for. And I think that would be useful.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have you like done any lessons or like watched any lessons before, by the way? Or
No, actually, I don't even really remember how I like found Metafy or you. I think I might have just been like, it might have been just like a fucking ad. You know what I mean? Like on like Instagram or something. I don't remember.
Oh
but,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, and then you're like the Falco guy.
I am the
so
Falco
I was
guy.
like, I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so I've just I'm gonna screen share on Discord. Hopefully you can see.
Yeah,
like,
I got it up.
gameplay. Yeah. So let's do the Fox one first. If I can find that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like this one, I won, and like the combos were like okay, but it's just like when I'm getting hits, I like don't even really know why they're like occurring, or like I'm not sure like what to look for. Even though this is like this is like by far my favorite matchup. Like I like the flow of it and stuff, but I'm just not sure like what to look for to get openings and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'd say just as like a base thought, pretty much in every matchup, but especially versus Fox, like you're generally looking for like a really nice laser to land. So like that could be like some sort of like good spacing, like being like quite next to them, and sort of like slowing them down. Like you don't want to be playing these positions where like they're jumping around and they're moving around a lot, and it's really hard to hit them. Like you want them to be sort of like stuttered or like in some sort of disadvantage before you try to like actually hit them.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons I sent this game is like even though like I did okay, I guess at the end, like he was like starting to come back, and I was like looking for that opening, and he's doing exactly what you said. Like he was on the left plat and the top plat, and just sort of like jumping over everything. And I was like, I'm not really sure like what to even like. All I'm doing is just back airing and just like and naring and like hoping that something clips him or shield spoke, or he runs into it, and that's like. Obviously that happens when I'm like panicked, but I need to be able to like sort of have a game plan for that kind of thing too.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we can look for those sorts of situations. Yeah, so I feel like even straight off the bat, like the fact that you even just wait like a tiny little bit before lasering gives him all the time to like get in immediately, right?
Right. Yeah, I think I probably do that initial like just drop off laser every game, like just the drop down like every game, and I feel like that's why, because we had already played like 3 or 4 games already, so he probably just ran in to shine because he knew I would just drop off like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the drop off is fine. You just need to do it a bit quicker. Like you see how you like dash dance for a bit and then you come down.
Yeah,
and, like in that time, like Fox is so fast that he's already like in center stage, and dashing towards you. So if you just drop through and shoot that like immediately here, like literally just land and then just drop through laser, like you'd have hit him like running off, and you'd be in a
okay.
And like that may seem like a little detail, but like all of this is just from that like one mistake at the start, right?
Yeah, like I could have just died there for sure.
Yeah.
He was better. Yeah.
We sort of finally get back to neutral here. You do a good job of disengaging here, and then I really liked the wave dash. But the part I didn't like was the shine. So the whole point of the wave dash at this range is sort of like you can see what Fox does, right?
Right.
And when you did the wave dash here, you could have seen that he full hopped, right? And And if he's full hopping, then like the shine isn't going to really interact well with anything that he's doing, right? Because he's just going to beat you up. So I would be looking more here, like if I did this wave dash for like up tilt or maybe shield or maybe spot dodge. But I don't want to shine. Shine sort of like guarantees that you're sort of going to get kind of owned here by the fox.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of just bad habit of just like when you wave dash, you shine kind of thing. Like,
yeah, and it's sort of like if you're playing it like that way, you're only gonna shine out of the wave dash. Then you may as well just like throw out a down air or something because you're covering like the same options with it. Like the whole point of the wave dash is that you can cover more things, you know.
Right. Okay.
Because I thought the wave dash itself was really good. It was just sort of what you did off of it that was lacking a bit.
Right. Yeah, I kind of like pick that up from just like watching Mango all the time. He's always like sliding in and out, and stuff, and just seeing what they do, and then if they make a decision, then
that's the hard bit there, right? Like there's so many things Fox can do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so this is all good. You're avoiding him pretty well. I thought there was some good reactions there, and then. The part I think I had another problem with was like at this range, you get this laser. And it's like, great, you got him in the corner, you've lasered him. And then you just try to like immediately like jump in off of it. And again, like Fox is just too fast, you know? He just gets out of the way too quickly. And just going back to what you were saying about like, you know, you felt like you were doing a lot better in like 2013 to 15. I think this is one of the main positions that sort of changed a lot. Is that like you could get away with this nair like back then, because people just weren't that quick out of the laser, right? But now everybody's like,
I was expecting him to hold shield here, probably. I think.
Yeah, but now it's like everybody's just like unpunched out of their mind, and they just like always are jumping or like dashing or throwing something out. Like nobody really like gets stuck anymore, if that makes sense.
Right. So yeah, no, that's true.
So you sort of have to like earn it a bit more. Like you sort of have to shoot this laser and then like bait something else out of them, you know, like a jump or a dash or an up tilt or something, and then you try to hit them. So what I'd suggest here would be maybe to just like dash dance after this, and then you can see the full hop, and then you play this next position, which is a bit better for you.
Right.
If you want to really call this out, you could just like run forward and then like full hop shine as well.
To like look for the jump.
Yeah.
I actually do that a lot, like the kind of brain dead aerial to out of center stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like I probably get punished more than maybe that's probably something I should really be actively thinking about, because that literally like pretty much got me killed there, right?
Yeah, and it's like, so I think the nair you do can be good if you're at sort of like this range here where my cursor is. Or I got my new fancy tool now, actually. So like if you were here, because your nair hits like the whole of this range here, right? Whereas like when you're here, it only hits like this range. And so if Fox just like, you know, like just jumps over here or whatever, that's a weird one. or like if he moves back or something, right? Like he's just getting out of this like yellow, like this second one. So you want to be a bit closer, and then you can cover those things easier.
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think that's where it's good, and the nair can be nice because if you catch them jumping, then you get a really big reward, right? Because you get a shine. But when you're this far, it literally doesn't cover the jump, right? Like you literally saw him jump over you. So at that point, it's like, what is this actually covering? You know?
Right.
And I think that's another thing that's changed a lot is like you have to be a lot more specific about your options now, compared to before. Because yeah, like you said, like this could literally get you killed, you know? Like be ready.
Yeah, I should have died there. Yeah. Do you mean like when you say specific? Do you mean like intentional with like everything that you do, kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I feel like you can't make as many mistakes essentially. Because people are just like so ready to play around something like this now.
Yeah. He looked for that right away. Actually, like he just reacted. Yeah. Okay.
And then I thought this was really nice. You do like wave dash and laser through. I'd say you put yourself in a
Similar
bit of an awkward
spot.
spot. Yeah. Like I'd say a lot of the corner corner and ledge stuff seems to be going a bit off. I think it's just like the
Yeah.
spacing you're trying to play at is like
Right.
making it hard to do stuff. So like at this one here, like Fox just has too easy of a time of just like ledge dashing and then hitting you here. So you probably want to be
Right.
like back here. And then
Okay.
yeah, and then when he tries and like ledge dashes on or whatever, his
Yeah.
invincibility runs out around this point. So like that's where you can throw out like a bear or something or a laser. Whereas like when
Okay.
you're up here, it's like pretty easy for him to just like ledge dash on and then like full hop bear you or something like up here.
Okay. So when I can't cover ledge, you think I should be kind of like where the last of those flowers are, kind of thing. Like yeah, instead
Over
of
here.
up on the
Yeah.
plat. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Like you essentially want to be at like at the point just after where his ledge dash invincibility stops is like the
Right.
ideal spot to be. Obviously that depends on like how good the fox is at ledge dashing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if they're really shit at it, you can just stand here if you want. But you know, I'd probably play it with caution first, and then sort of like adjust after. You know.
Right. You can probably cover like a get up attack or something from where you're at, where like the flowers are at anyway. Though probably, I feel like.
Yeah, you can like approaching laser it is the main thing. The big one you can't punish, which catches a lot of people, including me sometimes, is like you're back there, like back over here, and
Yeah.
then they do a tourney winner because they mess up their ledge dash, and you actually just can't punish it like as far.
Yeah, that angle is awful for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
like you try and go up to punish, and then they land and get under you, and it's not a good time.
Right.
But yeah, you can see like he literally tried to do that ledge dash bear that
Yeah.
I just showed, and like luckily the wind pushed you off, but you know it still put you in a bad spot even after, right?
Right.
Just because you didn't get hit now doesn't mean it's like it was a fine decision, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's good to. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm actually looking for. Is like what to think about in that kind of spot. Because like I probably didn't even think. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just like I'm just gonna be around to try to hit him when he gets back on the ledge. But yeah, I need to pick a spot. Yeah.
And then this one as well, you get past him, and then we put ourselves right back in the corner again, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So what I would probably do here is like just wait a little bit to see what he does, right? Because he's just thrown out like a billion shines by the ledge, right? So he's kind of stuck. Like he can't really do much. So like if you'd have just literally waited, like he would have just done this shitty double jump, and then you could have just sort of bared him and killed him, right? But because you tried to be like really preemptive, you sort of like miss an opportunity, right?
I see you. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'd say the main thing so far just seems like there's maybe some spots that you're not reacting in when you have an advantage. So like the wave dash, when you had him in the corner, you know, this spot, the sort of like making you miss easy openings, or like easy in terms of like, you know, if you just wait for him, then he'll give it away, right?
Yeah.
This is all really good. But then there was some other spots where you were playing it really well. Like there was lots of good like spot dodges and rolls out of bad positions, which I liked.
Right.
So it's just certain spots, I think. That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another like big thing, again in every matchup, but it can happen versus Fox sometimes, where it's like when you shoot this laser, you don't want to assume that like the laser itself is gonna hit.
Right.
Because there's so many ways that, like, you know, he even runs under it here. You know, he could have jumped over it. So you don't want to play off this laser as if it's going to hit. You actually want to play off it as if it's going to miss. Which is a bit weird to think about at first. But essentially it's like the laser should be covering anything he does on the ground. So you're only worried about, like, if he jumps over the laser or if he, like, runs under it in this case.
Do you think is it like are you kind of saying that because I'm just like too far away to do anything to like guarantee anything off of it, basically, or
Uh, no, I'd say it's more that like the situation is just like really ambiguous. So like
right, right,
you
right,
can try and make a read if you want, and like he's gonna do this exact thing, but there's just like so many variables that it's like unlikely that you're gonna be correct if that makes sense. Like even Mango, right? Like he wouldn't make some YOLO read here. He would probably like shoot this and then like dash dance a little bit and see what happens, and then he
right,
makes his
right,
big
right.
read. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this one was really unfortunate because like your height was just like barely off, and then he ran under somehow. But you know, in another world, he could have like jumped over this laser and then hit you on your next one. You know.
Right, right. Okay.
So when it's a spot where the laser isn't guaranteed to hit, I want you to just be a bit more cautious and sort of like pick something that covers yourself. You know, like dash dance or like just turn around and see what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
Okay.
laser in place is fine here because you have like the platform to
Right.
but essentially it's like if I do Fox here, like if Fox full hopped over here and
Mhm.
you were sort of like, oh, my laser just hit, let me go in, and he gets to jump over it, then you're in a really bad spot, right? Because he's just jumped over you.
Right.
Whereas if it's like you shoot this and then you wait and see what happens here, and he tries to sort of like YOLO in to read you, then you just
Right.
get like a really nice situation here, right? Where he's
Yeah, that's true.
where he's
Okay.
landing right next to you, which is like one of those goals we set at the start, right?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
cool. But yeah, that one's a bit hard to get your head around. But the more you watch and the more you try to look for it, the more it sort of like makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, um, another thing is just like on your respawn as well. You want to be paying attention to what side they're on. So like, I guess there is a world where he like dashes to the left here and this runoff hits, but you know, a lot of people are just going to stay on the side that's like furthest away from you, right?
Right,
So if
right.
he's on the right, I would try and run off to the right.
Okay. Just like kind of charge at him a little bit since I'm invincible, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you want to close the distance between you two as much as possible because their goal is to either like stay as far away as possible or like trick you somehow and get past you.
Right.
So by going to the other side of the stage, you're sort of like making that easier for them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, but I thought that was really good. Called them out, memes the platform. Yeah, and then this is another one where you're just sort of like fighting too close in the corner. Like you're trying to come down on Invincible Fox, right?
Right.
um, so again, I would just be like where those flowers are essentially, and throwing out those back airs that you were just then. I think that's really good.
Okay.
Like these late ones. Or you
Yeah,
can
I actually
laser.
I go to that platform every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like yeah. Okay, that's good to think about.
Yeah, and you get the kill here, it's great. But then, yeah, it is interesting that like this game where you're up 3 stocks to 1, 30% ends up being like last stock, last hit, right? So
Yeah,
there must
exactly.
obviously
Yeah.
be something like really going wrong here
Yeah.
for that to happen. Um, so this is all fine. Pretty hard to get any sort of follow up. Yeah. So I felt like running forward here was a bit
Yeah.
ambitious.
Yeah, I was looking for the power shield, as stupid as that sounds, but yeah, if I run forward and hit R, I was looking for the power shield as an air, but yeah.
Yeah, I could see that, but I also feel like, you know, you're not even in range of his nair at the moment, right? So like you have
Right, right,
enough
right.
space here to sort of like wait and see what he does. You could like full hop and go to the platform. You could try and throw out a laser if you want.
Mhm.
I just felt like moving into his range without a laser out is like,
Oh, my shield did come out.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but yeah, okay, cool.
It's sort of like, I think that's a good idea, but when, you know, Fox is maybe like here, and then you sort of need to take that risk to be able to get past him, right? Whereas when he's back here, you're not really like that threatened, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Like, you know, to be that nair, you could do like back airs, you could laser it, you could jump over it. Like you have so many other like less risky and like higher reward ways to deal with it, I feel like. And then here, I think you just start sort of chasing him. Oh, this is fine. Hard punish to get. Good roll. And then once you get to here, I think you probably just want to like turn your back and like look for back air, because back air covers like this sort of zone, right?
Right. Okay.
And like it's pretty hard for Fox to contest this. And like even if you don't back air that spot, you can still like move all the way back here and like laser if you want to. Or you can always just run in and then like try and hit him from below. So you have like a lot of threats from this position.
Right.
And if you just sort of like look at this, like pretend you're Fox here, like it feels kind of threatening, right? Like you're down 3 stocks to 1. Falco's in center stage. You're at the percent where Bear's probably going to knock down. Like it's pretty hard for you to do anything here.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I would just be leveraging that, but we sort of like sort of throw that away by just like running forward and like full hop fairing, right?
Yeah.
And if we see what he did, like what did he do? He just like full hopped up here. And like that would get really easily covered by that bear we just talked about, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. Like this is a terrible shot. I don't want to like call out this guy, but like you know that's just like asking to get baired, you know. And that's sort of what I mean by sometimes you can just like wait in a good position, and he's literally just gonna give you the hit, you know.
Right.
Like you don't always need to force something. Like you've already done like the hard work of like getting to a good position. If that makes sense. Can you shield drop, by the way, or?
Yeah, but I've got like a pretty like banged up old controller that I've been using since like 2012. So
okay.
I gotta like work on the stick maybe or something. But I think it's because like my notches are almost like circular. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Is how bad it is. So yeah, I definitely can't shield drop for sure. Yeah, but I find it's like it's I think it's partly controller and partly like just a little bit of rust. I think. Because you might see me like just spot dodging a lot on the plat, trying to get down. But
yeah, it was just because I was seeing a lot of like other platform options like the full hop and like the wave dash off and stuff, and I was like, I haven't seen a shield drop yet, and I was like, you know, is that something you like don't do, or is it just like, you know, a controller thing?
That might be old school habit too, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's good for what it's worth. Like people play more around shield drop now than those other things. Yeah, I think one big thing like I've seen a lot is like after you roll out of a spot, like you do good rolls, but then you'll just immediately try and like run in with a nair after. And I don't know if it's some sort of like, oh, I was in a bad spot, let me sort of like defend myself sort of like reflex. But what I'd want you to do is just like check what happens like every time you roll. Like with this one, he was just dashing away, right? So there's no way that he's going to really be in this spot. And even if he was, again, there's like sort of safer things you could do, right? To get out of the way. You know, you could full hop. You could do an aerial in place instead.
Right. Okay.
But it's like this sort of nair is the sort of thing that like Fox could get like a dash dance grab here and then you know, like kill you, or not kill you, but get a free opening, right? Like he wouldn't have really had to work for it that hard. And then I also feel like we've lost a lot of these like vertical mix-ups like coming down. where you try to like double jump fast fall aerial and then he just whip punishes. So you can either go for like laser or waveland here instead. Or just land on the platform. Like you have that option of like going to this platform or this platform, right?
Right.
And they're also really good to go for. Because you know, like what's Fox even going to hit you with here at 0 that's going to do anything? Like maybe up air, but it's not even going to knock you down, I don't think. Whereas you know, if you land like down here, oops, you know, he can hit you with all of his high reward options, right?
Like, okay.
Like, yeah, you can hit him with your high reward stuff as well, but it's like he's the one at a disadvantage, so you don't want to be playing like these 50-50s, you know? You want to be playing the stuff that's in your favor.
When I'm in full double jump like that, like my mix-ups are pretty limited too. Like it's gonna be like a back air, a dare.
Yeah, but you have like back air, dare, laser, or waveland. But like, even if you play that mix-up like as good as possible, I still feel like that's not really something you need to do, you know? Like, I feel like it's more of a... You shouldn't be, like, putting yourself there on purpose. I feel like it's more of a last resort sort of thing.
Right, okay.
Cool. And I think this is another one where you sort of, like... Oh, slippy. You sort of like lasered in a spot where like Fox could hit you for it quite easily.
Yeah, I just saw that one. Yeah, this is like a horrible laser. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like turn your back, look for back air, up tilt. If you want a laser all the way like back here, I think.
Yeah, this was a good up tilt spot for sure.
Yeah, up tilt. I mean, back air as well is like so good here. Again, just because it hits all of this sort of like zone. And, like, if it hits at all, like, it sets you off stage for an edge guard, right?
True. Yeah.
You even have, like, full hop shine here if you want to play it a bit more, like, you know, read him waiting, for example.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't think laser is, like, the play there. And then we panic double jump here, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, here I would probably just, like... wiggle out of tumble and then try to just like fall to the ledge or even fall down like here if you don't want to be on the ledge.
Okay.
By double jumping, you're just sort of again like putting yourself in a risky position. But then even from here, you can still like drift back if you want.
Yeah, I think I got greedy for just like a hit there, but it's just,
there's been like lots of like panic double jumps in spots where you get like sort of hit in the air. Yeah, and see that aerial comes out again, right? And that was the sort of thing where I was before, like, you know, Fox could just dash dance grab you here, and you might be in trouble. And again, it's just like the spacing is just too far away to be able to aerial, right? Like, I pretty much want you to like remove like early aerial here from your repertoire, like entirely.
Okay.
Just again, because I feel like the things it covers, there's like other things that cover it either in a less risky way, or like it covers more things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that wave dash, for example.
Right.
So, just to sort of like break this down quickly and give you a really sort of basic set of options before we move on to the puff game.
Sure.
You know, you can approaching laser, or you can shoot in place again if you think he'll move back. You can dash down some weight, or like shoot in place again if you think he'll jump. And if you think he'll move in with something, then I would just be trying to do that wave dash, or like turn your back and back air. And I feel like that's a pretty solid like set of options to work with.
Right.
At this spacing. And yeah, you'll note that none of those were approaching aerial.
Yeah, full. Yeah, I have like two questions. So one is like kind of unrelated to that, but the one related is like I do this. It's just because it's just from when I played before. But like if you play this dare right here that I just did, like if you play this right here, I like it's so fucking early, like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the jump animation. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And like a lot of like people now are like really delaying it because that's when you get that like really if you do hit them, that's when you get like the super meaty hit
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
can that it's hard for them to SDI and stuff like that.
yeah,
I'm just wondering like I guess the reason I do those early, it's like partly habit, but also partly like I want to have like a hitbox in the air so that they can't like do anything while I'm like flying over there. Do you know what I mean? But like, how do you? I'm trying to think of how to word this exactly. Like, how do you get into the spot where you're like able to delay your aerial enough that you can get that like late safe shield pressure type of
yeah,
thing? Do
yeah.
you know?
I
Does that
think
make
I get what
sense?
you mean. Yeah, I think it's just like I think this is just like the wrong spots downer entirely. Like I think even if somebody did like a tried to do a later aerial here, like they could
Yeah.
still get whiff punished for this. It's just the difference is like when you do a later aerial, you have time to like change your decision if you see something different. So like you'll see Mango sometimes he'll jump forward, get to like here, and then he'll like double jump, or he'll waveland back,
Right.
or
He'll like change
something
his
like that.
mind.
Yeah, whereas when
Right.
you do an early down air, you're sort of like locked into that, right? Like the only thing you can do is like change your drift and fast fall potentially.
Right.
Um, but I think again, like the spot you want to be doing, there's like late downers or even this downer and is like once you're like here because that's when you can actually catch like Fox's dash back, Fox's full hop, like all those
Hmm.
things. Um, but in terms of like, I get that feeling of like you want to throw out the downer because it covers like all of this space here, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's sort of like it's almost like you don't need to cover all that space because you have so many other things going on that also cover that. So like back air, for example, can cover like this spot. Your lasers on the ground cover all of this, right?
Right.
The dash wave dash back shine can cover like anywhere here, depending on where exactly you wave dash to.
Hmm.
Um, so you already it's already like really you're already really threatening in this zone. And that's why foxes never get hit by this, is because they just don't want to play in this range, really. Like, they don't want to dash into this. And half of
Right.
the matchup is, like, making them either be forced to sort of, like, play into this zone, or, like, you using the fact that they don't want to go here to then, like, move in yourself.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think a big thing is proximity. Like
Yeah.
I can't just be like it's got to be more calculated than just like ripping the aerial off like
Yeah.
from like half stage, yeah, or center stage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. You just want to think about, like, the spacing and also, like, how much time you have. So, like, if they've just whiffed a move, you can be a lot further and still aerial them. Whereas
Right.
the other way around, like, if you've just whiffed a move, like, they can be really close and you still can't hit them, right? Because you don't have much time to work with.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, cool. All right, let's move on to the other one because there's quite a lot there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think like the I don't know like what your kind of uh like what's the word, like floaty sort of like philosophy is, but like
yeah,
because like I end up like hitting usually harder, but sort of like not getting the neutral like openings, like putting myself in bad spots. Like obviously Peach, Puff, Icy is just like, it's a lot harder for me because I'm just you're not gonna like do much more than like 50 or 60% to Puff in like one combo, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
yeah, so these matchups are usually pretty. That's why I sent this one. Like the game after this, he just like fucking annihilated me because like I don't know, I just like kind of got opened up too much, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like you have to leverage like the fact that your neutral's better than theirs a lot more. And it seems like, I mean, just watching the Fox game, it seems like that isn't really like the strongest part of your skill set.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely not. Yeah.
so So yeah, so let's watch through this one. Again, I think with this one there's just some like very basic like rules for you to follow that'll just sort of like help a lot.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So the first one I'd immediately say here is that like you pretty much always like if Puff has her back turned, you want to have your back turned as well. Is like the first one. You either want to have her back turned or get her to turn to face you essentially, because when you're facing forward like this, like back air just hits like all of this sort of spot, right?
Yeah.
So it's so hard to beat with like any of your moves. Whereas when you're the one with your back turned, like you have back air that hits sort of like this, right? Like in this sort of like zone. And that's like one of the only ways you can really contest like Puff's back air. Like you can see here, like you know, you eat like 3 back airs just trying to like dash in and like hit her in essentially like spots where you can't really do anything, right?
Right. Okay.
So you either want to have your back turned, or alternatively you want to try and get her to turn around. And luckily lasers turn people around, right? So that's why that's like a big reason of why like lasers are so good in this matchup. So for instance here you could shoot a high laser that sort of covers this spot. And then when Puff drifts down into this, she'd get turned around, and then you can start using your like front-facing aerials or your back-facing aerials to sort of like interact with her. But anytime she has her back turned like this, it's just like not a winning position for you to try and like move in like with your front-facing essentially.
Right. Okay.
Because the hitbox is just too strong.
Right.
It's the same with like Sheik as well. Like any character with like super disjointed back airs, like even Fox to some extent. Like any character that's just like spacing back air, it's just like really hard to deal with it, like just by just jumping into it.
Right.
So just take the easy route and just laser turn them around, or threaten your own back air instead.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so like this is another one where I thought you had a great position here.
Yeah.
You hit that back air. And now look at where your back air's hitting, right? Like this sort of zone.
Right.
Like it's very... I feel like it's a lot easier to hit Puff here compared to... like now, when you have your front facing, right? Because you tried to go up and hit her, and she just sort of like drifts over here and gets out the way of it, right?
Right.
And then you end up trading. Nice full hop. And then another big one is like with pretty much all the floaties, you never want to be like chasing them in this sort of spot. So like yeah, so like Falco's big strength is like his up and down speed, right? Like his vertical. Like he has the fastest fast fall, he has the biggest full hop, you know, all those things. And Floaty's advantage is like how much they can drift side to side, right? Like that aerial drift.
Right.
So you can see how that's like when it's a situation like this where it's like quite diagonal, it's like very mismatched for you, right? Like you don't want to be playing this sort of spot because they're just going to drift out of the way. But if you were say like here or down here, then you want to play these spots. Like obviously up air is a factor, but just in general, like you don't want to be trying to like chase Puff horizontally. Like you want to be chasing her vertically instead. So either getting under her or sometimes getting above her.
Okay.
Because yeah, you can see what happens here. You try and run off and down at her. She gets out of the way, and you know this could have been a turnaround grab.
Yeah.
Back air. And then this is another one, right? Like you're on top of her, and then you can see that diagonal is happening, right?
Right. Okay.
So anytime those things happen, you just want to back off. Like you don't want to be fighting this. You just want to drift backwards to like here, say. And what that means is like you either reset the situation, or Puff can try to drift in and hit you, and go over here. But then look what she's getting hit by, right?
Right.
This down A right here. So you sort of do the safer option, and then if they start calling that out, that's when you can go for these more riskier plays.
Okay.
Not sort of like the other way around. Where,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You turn your back, nice. I thought this was way better. The down air was a bit overzealous, maybe. But, like, here you had, like, you know, you could have, like, dropped through back head, and that could have worked.
Right.
And then you get, like, a laser out here, which is great, I think. And then once you got that laser out, you were in a pretty good spot. Because this is covering sort of, like, this zone, right?
Right.
And then that allows you to, like, move forward a bit if you want to. Because she has to either, like, land and get hit by the laser, or she has to, like, double jump. And both of those let you sort of, like, move in a little bit and reposition.
Okay.
Whereas you play this a bit more aggressive and try to, like, full hop and read her. And, again, she just, like, spaces around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're trying to chase a character that's, like, faster than you, essentially. At least in, like, horizontal spots, and it just sort of, like, doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so, like, the spots that are good for Falco is, like, when he has his back turned, when he gets under puff, sometimes when he's over puff, and, like, can get there before she can drift away.
Yeah, I think like because I think I kind of like I'm like feeling that in the match because like I'm fucking full upping just like trying to hit her, but like and then I'm in bad like you say I'm in bad spots, so it's like you can't really force being over top of her. I don't think too much.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like here, I think you're trying to like just again like jump up and hit her too much. Like, I would just chill down here, wait for her to, like, fall a bit, and then, again, from this spot, you have back air, right? And that's going to contest this spot. And if she tries to go up here, you can then sort of start to full hop air if you want.
Okay.
But, again, the goal is to try and, like, get under and just to the side of her, because that's when your back air is, like, most effective.
Right.
Recovery. Unfortunate. Yeah.
It's bad, yeah.
Yep. So chasing again horizontally, right?
Right.
Like, she's all the way over here and you're trying to, like, jump off and... yeah. Oops, that was great. Yeah, let's keep watching. And then I think if we let's spend the last 10 minutes just like watching somebody else play versus Puff, and I think you'll start to see the difference a lot more.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like forcing my way in way too much there. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I want you to think about this idea of like your threat of full hop down air here. Fast fall down it is so threatening that Puff is literally putting herself like all the way over here because she just does not want to get hit by it. So that gives you so much, like I always refer to it as leverage. It gives you so much leverage to just drift back down, and then you've created space for yourself, right? Just by this sort of like invisible threat almost.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Like look where she ends up, right? If you just didn't throw out the downer and just sort of like landed back here, she's so far away. And then that's when you can then, you know, reset to neutral. Yeah, these are the spots where sort of like not shield dropping that much. It's kind of rough because you're sort of like stuck here now, right?
Yeah. I didn't. That roll was probably like a contempted one, maybe.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is another example of like the laser missing thing. This it's a lot clearer to see versus Puff, I think, than Fox.
Right.
But like you see how she just like jumps over it.
Right.
So it's sort of like you haven't earned the opportunity to be able to just jump in off of this laser yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to defend this spot that like she can drift into. So this is again where you might want to dash dance, you might want to turn your back and back air. But you try and like immediately jump in here, and then Puff just gets over you, right?
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let me look for a Fucker Puff Flood real quick. Trying to think if I have any like decent Puff sets I can watch.
Have you played like Two Saints and stuff like that? I don't know.
No, I've literally only played the European Puffs in a bracket, I think.
Really? Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
I played like 2 stocks versus 2 Saint in like Cruise or something.
Okay.
You've never had a
Yeah. I think you were at Gommel, weren't you? I think.
Yeah, I was at Gommel.
Yeah. One of my good buddies played against you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In like I don't know where it would have been, if it was in bracket or if it was in. I don't remember. Maybe like Ginger or something. I don't really know. He's like pretty.
Yeah.
Reserved.
It's just I was looking for one of mine because it's like it's sort of easier.
Yeah,
to tell
you can
like,
explain your process. Yeah,
exactly,
for sure. Yeah. You weren't at Apex, were you?
No, I wasn't Apex.
No.
That was like too what's it called? Too soon.
Okay.
That's really annoying that I don't have any like good tournaments. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I might hang on. Yeah, this one will do. Let me just change the screen share over quickly.
Yeah, I got it already.
Oh, I put it on. Yeah, nice. Okay. Let me look for a good game.
Vault.
2 stock on Dreamland's probably a good game. Oh, I actually died in the first. Okay, whatever. Let's just watch a Dreamland game.
Sure.
I mean, the result doesn't matter too much, honestly. It's more just about, like, the...
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Decision making. Punish stuff, whatever. But you can immediately see, like, I'm trying to laser a bunch and I'm trying to, like, turn my back a lot, right?
Yeah, and you're doing a lot more waiting too, like in spots, like just that mini dash dance, like
Yeah.
to see what their like plan is.
Yeah, it's me getting a bit greedy. You can see like the high lasers, right? Like Puff has her back turned, and then I shoot the high laser, which turns her around, and now suddenly I can go for like a lot more stuff, right?
Right, right.
Like I could have probably like nared there instead, but and then back turned here. That was a really good call out from him.
Yeah, that was tough. Tough spot.
But again, it's like I'm always threatening the bear, right? And like the
Right,
good thing about having your back turn as well, you'll see here is like I can always turn around and laser if I want to. Right. So I
right,
can always turn to face my front if I want to, but it's harder to like turn to your back and then like immediately back air, right?
right. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you just like landed the kill basically because you were like I would have like probably nared him like 6 more times and it would have been like
Yeah, yeah.
200% or whatever. Yeah.
Like even this one, literally, like this is a bit like brain dead bearing, but like it's just hard for Puff to interact with this, right? Like if you just think about the
Yeah.
hitboxes, like
Mm,
Puff hits up here with back air, and Falco's hitting down here, and especially when you have the platform here that's sort of blocking like a lot of positions for Puff to approach from, it's just so hard for her to sort of contest this.
right. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Whereas like when you have your front facing, if I go back. When you have your front facing, like Puff's hitbox was here again, but your Nair only hits like down here, right? And like down
Hmm.
air hits like this sort of zone. So like there's sort of that blind spot, right, that you've got, which is this sort of like 45-degree angle,
Right.
like up right here. And that's
Hmm.
what back air covers. Like back air and high lasers both cover that sort of spot.
Hmm.
And that's the spot that Puff wants to get you in, because like her bear hits you, but your other moves don't really.
Okay.
So that's such like a big part of the match, honestly. Um, yep, high laser. But I'm like pretty much never nairing in, right? Like I'm always trying to either like approaching laser, or if I do nair, it's because like I got really close
Right.
first. Um, Turning my back.
Yeah, that was a good spot.
My back turned, and then I just use like walk and like wave dash to sort of position myself. Because like when you dash dance, it's sort of like it's good in some ways, but in terms of like just threatening like back air, it sort of messes you up a bit, right? Because you can't be really precise
Right.
with your spacing. Um, but then
That
even that down
that's
air,
a classic.
like look at where it started from, right? Like I had a lot
Yeah,
more
you're
time than
already
him.
in range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in range and he just rolled, so like he didn't have time to get away that easily.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that was good. Just like hold
yeah,
space and then yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool actually. The back throw fair.
Ooh.
It's like 20 something.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was good too.
I think he read here. Four,
Yeah, probably.
five. Yeah, it's kind of hard to kill Puff there, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it anyway. um, Full hop. That was the full hop I was talking about, right? Like, I jump up here,
Yeah,
and
and then he
he's
goes
scared
back
of
probably,
me
right?
doing this, right?
Yeah.
And I do double jump, which sort of like gives it away a little bit. But even then, I drift
Hmm.
backwards, and then I get to land with the laser out.
Right.
And the only reason I get hit here is actually because off of the laser I played it bad. I could have like put my shield up or something.
Right.
But the idea was there with like sort of manipulating your full hop drift to sort of like create a bit better situation for yourself.
Okay.
Um, Same again there, right? Like I feel like you were in a similar spot and you were like full drift forward daring into him.
Yeah, just daring. Yeah.
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 Whereas I use that sort of like vertical speed to like get down to the ground and then I can put my shield up.
Hmm.
And like this might all look like eventually I do throw it away, but like I started back here, right, and then I eventually end up here, which is like a big difference because now I have this little bit of space to play with in the back, right?
Right.
And then I got a bit greedy. Sure. And you can see, like, as soon as I mess up the spacing a little bit, and I do my bear at the wrong time, like, he gets at this 45-degree angle, right? And it's really hard for me to deal with. Like, I could shield, but it's rough.
Yeah, you kind of always need to be threatening that exact angle, or you're just gonna get dropped on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, either threaten it or just, like, move out of the way of it is, like, the two ways to sort of get around it. That was good by him. Again, like, turning my back, right? I think here, a lot of the time, you're trying to, like, jump up and, like, laser him, or, like, you try and, like, dash forward and, like, full hop. But again, I'm just looking for, like, bear, right? And, and you can see I'm sort of, like, using that wave dash to sort of, like, threaten that space. Like, because I could just wave dash back and back air him any time here, but, you know. And then when do I go for the downer? It's once I've gone quite close.
Yeah,
and,
you're
like,
right here.
Yeah, and like it's actually got a chance to like hit him if he moves back or jumps, right? He rolls in, which is good, and then wins a mix-up. But, you know, at least the dare had like a good chance of working, right?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, no, I kind of see that now. Like it's a lot of like it's too high risk, and like there's just like almost no reward when I'm doing those. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Should be close. Yeah, and he's got to play so careful too when you're like that. Like he's just like drifting all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I think that final one was a really good example of like the vertical, like challenging in a vertical spot. Like, look at the position, right? Like, look where we are.
Yeah.
He's directly below me, whereas the spots where you were trying to hit him was like he was like here, right?
Right.
So in those spots when he was there, that was when I was like backing off. But this one, I'm like, you know, if I get a read on which way he runs off, he goes here, like I get a kill, right? Because I could either like dash this way and shield drop down, or I could run off. And like Puff probably wants to back air, so she probably wants to go this side, so that she can try. So yeah, I just run off and like look how fast I get to the ground, right?
Yeah.
So that's the sort of spot where like you can play those like coming down mix-ups.
Right.
And like, you know, even if the up air hits you here, like it probably doesn't lead to anything. So yeah, I think there was a few good examples there.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah, it kind of like I could see like what you're talking about kind of paying off, like when you're doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I was still making mistakes. Like, you know, you saw a few of those like silly nairs off the platform or like drifting in at bad times. But yeah, like you said, you can definitely see like where it's useful to play like that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, no problem. I'm hoping you found it pretty helpful. Like, you've got a bit more idea of like what to look for in at least those two matchups now.
Yeah, for sure. I think like the only thing before you go is like like I kind of want to do like I don't know, maybe like a session a week or something like that, just to like kind of maybe like go over something or like maybe even play a little bit or whatever. Do you think like what do you think the best like I don't even know like bundle or whatever? Yeah, like what do you think is the best method for that? Like going forward?
I could set up a bundle for that if you want. Like I can do that.
Yeah. Because it's like it's like everyone like in my region, pretty much no one plays Falco, and like I was always the guy that played Falco. So people would add, like back in the day, you know, people would be like, how do I do this, or like what do you do for this, or whatever, like in this spot, and I'd be like, well, I like personally I do this, but like I've never had anyone to be like what do I do in this spot, or like even how do I do like certain tech skill and stuff like that. So it's just cool to have someone to be like, how do I fucking do this, or like what's your opinion on this, like that. That's like even just being able to ask those questions is like definitely worth the money for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, I do like the like playing and talking ones as well. Like that's this one here.
Okay.
I'll also do ones. This one's kind of popular with a lot of people as well. But you said you don't like net play as much, where it's basically like you play unranked and I'll watch you play and like give you advice as you're playing. Um,
Right. Okay.
some people find that nice because like they want to know how to beat like random unranked person, but I don't think that's really
Yeah.
what you want. um,
Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't mind playing net play, but like I don't know why, but I just like it's I kind of like the like hanging out with someone and playing. Like even if they're just on Discord with me, like just that kind of like
yeah, yeah, for sure.
social aspect of it. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. The best way to do it would be I could set up a training plan, which is literally just like a bundle of like X amount of lessons. I'm not sure how long would you want to like do that? Like a couple of months, try it for, or what?
Yeah. I mean, probably like just kind of like like once or twice a week, and then like go for a month and see how it goes, or maybe like 2 months. The only issue is like I'm in school, so I have to like and exams are coming up and everything, so I have to be like. But it shouldn't honestly it shouldn't be really a big issue. I think I can probably commit to like a couple, uh, months probably
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
easily.
Right. What I'll do, I'll make a training plan that's like a bundle of if we're doing once a week, then like let's say 4 lessons, and then you can just
Mhm.
buy that, and then like you can schedule those whenever you want. Like it doesn't like expire or anything.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and like obviously like I have like so like I'm in America for main stage and Smash World Tour next month as well. So like there will be times when maybe I'm busy or you're busy or whatever.
Right, right,
Um,
right. Okay. Yeah.
so,
No, that's totally fine. Okay.
but yeah, I'll message you once I've got that like set up.
Yeah, for sure. No
And then yeah,
rush.
we can
Yeah.
figure it out.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, man. I really
Yeah, no
appreciate
problem.
it.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.
Okay. Awesome. Take care, man.
See ya.